Hello everyone, it's Sean. I'm back again and I'm working on the Restored Enterprise D. You can see the box here. I realize it's a good day for priming, but I want to make sure I don't run into the problems I ran into with Voyager. I want to make sure that all four sides of the nacelles can be evenly sprayed. So what I'm going to do, I Sharpied the parts. I'm going to take them off their sprues, but not here. This is where I'm going to have them gripped on both sides, because you can, that way you make sure that there can be one for each section. You got the 4 pegs here. And what I'm going to do to make sure I don't lose track of the part numbers is I'm going to mark them on the bottom side. So this one's 35. Don't worry, stripes will go over these. That one's 36. 37 and 38. Since the inner surface never gets painted, you won't lose track of which nacelle piece is which. And of course, after I've done the nacelles, then I'll paint the hull. But again, I'm only going to paint the hull by having it attached. From the front, I'm going to remove the side gripper so I can get good coverage on the sides. So that should work out quite nicely. So I will put them on the stand and get ready for painting. I'm back again. This time I'm going to actually put the secondary hull in place. Now, you don't need to have the part numbers on there because it's immediately recognizable, which means you don't even need to have it attached to its sprues. So just trim a little bit off here. There. Now go at it from underneath. There. Good. All right. Now, you see these pegs? See these 4 pegs? Well, you treat this just like you treat a model car. You put them in place enough that they will go on inside the pegs. Of course, you got to get the, I'll keep that in place. It's for the deflector to rest on. Okay. I was going to say try and keep it on there so it goes inside the pegs, but it's slipping. And they're in as far as they can go. So I think the next best thing is to find my tape and actually tape the thing to the inside of the... So there's the tape. Here's more tape. So I'm going to see if I can tape it to its segments instead, or even better, you put tape on the inside of the piece, you take it off, you put tape on this side of the piece like that, and then you turn the tape here into... Well, that doesn't work either. However, there you go. Get at it from underneath. Put the piece in place. Yeah, kind of like that, except you got to get it on both sections. Oh, I see. It's not quite wide enough. Well, in that case... Oh, another notice here. You have to make sure that the nacelle half it goes into has the matching pegs. Now it says 35 and 37 on the instructions. Wrong! 36 and 37. $35 and $38. See? So there you go. So 37 and 36, or considering 35 has the pegs, 35 and 36. I just think it's going to be easier to assemble than the cell. There you go. Now you realize, of course, while painting it, it's going to have to be glued from the inside. Oh, I see what they meant. So left side, 37 and 38 on the right side. I get it now. Okay, but you're going to have to use some tape or something, like so that it's on there. Because I can't get it on any other way. Its pegs fell off, so you have to use the tape. This won't work unless you grip it with something like these on this. And then you turn it like so. But let's see if I can use both grippers in the same spot. Maybe. Well, not the same spot, but on the same piece. There's that. Well, that didn't help. It just came right out. Give me one minute. Here, I cut a crude mask to cover up the attachment pins for the Stardrive top, because I remember you have to get that. And I also, I can see how I forgot to perhaps get the primer on the inside, so I'll make sure to do all that when I do the base color, which is going to be the light ghost gray. Here's the top of the Stardrive. So I did with it exactly what I would do with a model car. I did the sides, I did the front, I did the back, and I did the top as well. And here are the 4 nacelles. Now I did the same thing with the nacelles. I went along this side, I went all around the outside, then I went all around the inside of each one. And that would have the side effect of getting the ends as well. As you can see here. See? Managed to get the ends. The tape doesn't interfere. You can see now more clearly the trench for the nacelle grills. I know, the paint bubbles up a bit, but don't worry, that can be covered up by the base coat, so hopefully the base coat will turn out better. So I'll leave all these parts like they are. You just have, well, it's a good thing I had a spare stand, small stand, that would fit the Stardrive like that, so that'll be perfect when it's base color time. Yes. Because remember, you're going to have to do the outside, underside as well. But now all I have left is a saucer. The saucer which might... No, it wouldn't quite fit there, so... You have to... See? It's so flat, it'll be able to fit on there and be painted. As far as the saucer top, you might be able to get the grippers. Let's experiment. There. That's how I'm going to do the saucer top. I'm going to put the grippers on the thing and put it on there. Or, even better, now let's hope it doesn't break anything. Let's try this. Let's hope this works. Because I don't want to break a tab. well, it's not a tab, it's a pinhole. The tab is on the other side. So let's see here. Can I get this in a gripper? No, it just won't stay. So the two halves of the saucer are going to have to be painted one at a time, which is fine. They're still mostly flat, so that should work out just fine. And I managed to get it apart to do that painting without breaking any of these tabs. The front tab was misaligned, it was in the way, so it didn't matter. This will be covered up by the paint. These tiny tabs, you want to make sure there was no grippers on them whatsoever. This one ended up inside there until I broke it off. So that's good. It's very good. And the deflector dish itself is in a separate bag ready for gripping as well. Oh, there you go. Because it's not a clear piece, you can't break it from behind. So that's the only other piece that needs painting. And actually, I should be able to take the part number off because you can recognize the deflector dish, but just the part number. You don't want anything to go wrong, but you want to have this so that you can actually grip it. There you go. See? Now you can grip the deflector dish, and I realized belatedly it could have gone like that. Well, actually, since you've got it here, let's carefully remove there you are. So now put it inside the box and I'll do a bit of spray. All right, there we are. Deflector dish is sprayed. The secondary hull is safely in between all the nacelles without having damaged them. There you go. All right, so I'll get everything set up for the group picture, and I will be right back. All right, so there's everything set up for the group picture. Guess I have to put everything away or aside so I can show you what else I'm working on. So let's see how much can fit in the other box here. All right, so you just set the stand aside, and then we take a look at the progress I got done on the Voyager on the stand. That's model number 38 we're going to get into now. All right, so here you see model number 38. I got the top windows done. Let's see if I can get it from this angle without shadows getting in the way. There you go. So you can see the top windows on the secondary hull. I'm starting the top windows on the saucer. You can see the other side of the secondary hull top windows here. And then you carefully take the ship off the stand and you flip it over and you see how I have done all the windows on the secondary hull. So there's the that's the starboard side of the secondary hull, and then you have the port side. So today is June 11th. Kate Mulgrew will be 48 days. She'll be at GalaxyCon, so I believe that's exact. Well, yesterday was 7 weeks. Exactly. So I want to get Voyager decaled, at least, the phaser horseshoes, the registry number, the escape pods, the spine detail, the nacelle stripes, the secondary deflector dish, and as far as on the bottom, I guess those that are on the saucer and the escape pods and the phaser rings and those two. I'm not going to go with all the little invisible decals like the phaser dashes and everything. I just might not have the time. Besides, Terry Metalis is going to be at GalaxyCon. As you know, I am wanting to build this as the Enterprise D, the restored version. I have both sets of decals. I think I've shown you that already in part 2. You see, there's the decals for the Syracuse. Now I've already decided, instead of being the brownish gray hull, it's going to be the light ghost gray secondary hull. Because if you look at Voyager in different angles, here it looks bluish gray, but to my eye, it looks a slightly more brownish. Yes, to my eye, it's more brownish gray than it is on screen. Well, that's good, though. You want the on-screen look for the ship. And you can see, with the panels, you see how subtle the difference is between the dark ghost gray on those rectangular panels there and the light ghost gray hull? That's the subtlety you'll have for the Enterprise D saucer, dark ghost gray, versus the Syracuse Stardrive. You can see the subtlety there in those panels above the torpedo bay. So basically, that is all for now for Sean's model builds. This will probably be the update for Friday, June 16th, unless I get more done, in which case I'll splice it in. But I have found that my laptop isn't detecting my computer, so I have been forced to wait for Dropbox to do its thing and actually get all the get everything on there. So let me see if I can get a group picture of all my progress this week. Although technically I did most of the windows on Voyager last week at you see, didn't quite get it. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm going to be painting those manually by hand. So if it didn't get everything, I don't care. So let me move everything closer for a group shot. All right, now keep in mind, of course, Voyager is not the same scale. Voyager is 1000 scale. The Enterprise D is 2500 scale. And the Enterprise D is not going to go on that base. That's just the painting base with a small painting stand rod. But I already have the proper stand that came with the model right here. I don't end up using the I don't use the posable neck for the base. I can never get it to work, so I just use the rod itself. So that is all for now for Sean's model builds. Set everything in place here so none of it gets damaged. There's an alternate. There's an alternate picture. If you turn it slightly, now you can see some of the windows. Now, the white wore out a bit at a time, so it's not as garish as it might otherwise be. All right. So we'll see you here next time if I get more progress done this week. Bye-bye. So this is the best way I can come up with to paint the rest of the Enterprise D parts. Taped the bottom saucer upside down to the rotating thing. Managed on its tightest model car setting to wedge the star drive in there. Taped tape to the tape roll, tapey side up, so that it will hold the saucer, the top saucer, in place. Now I got to remember, once I'm done the priming, I'm going to have to mask off a section so that I can paint the star drive colors on all 3 sections. I mean, this is fine. That's going to have to be masked off there. This is going to have to be masked off here to be the light ghost gray. And of course, you can paint all the Stardrive sections here light ghost gray at the same time. But the rest of the saucer is going to have to be dark ghost gray. So I'll go warm up the can of primer, the fresh can of primer, because I don't want to run out. And I'll come back when the parts are spray painted, and we'll see what they look like back then. So this is another update, part of model number 39, part 3, the restored Enterprise D. So here we go. Here are the other 3 pieces of the restored Enterprise D with all the primer on them. You can see that the other 4 parts are dry now. So let's see if I can get a good picture. Just 1 minute here. There we go. So these 5 parts are dry. This has just been applied with primer, as has the saucer and, well, both halves. And the neck. Now don't worry about any uneven coverage or paint smudge, because I realized that not only do I have the secondary hull decals to take care of everything on the star drive, but I have as well the primary hull decals as well. The faded blue Aztecs with the almost white escape pods, just like in the show. Now what I'll experiment with on the bottom saucer. Now I know they look bolder on camera than they are in real life. It's amazing how things change. But what I'll experiment with is seeing if I can use my finest brush, which I believe is this one. This is my finest brush, which I used on Voyager's windows, and I'm going to see if I can paint some of the window decals white. Not every single one. I'm going to have to consult screenshots of the show to see which ones can be lit up and which ones can be painted. And of course I'll experiment on the bottom saucer first. But now it's time to let everything dry, and then you can see the sample hull colors. So here is the saucer's dark ghost gray. Here is the secondary hull's light ghost gray. So just 1 minute. Have to get that far back, but you can see the slightly brownish gray Aztecs for the secondary hull. These Aztecs will go over the light ghost gray. You can see the faded blue Aztecs with the much whiter escape pods, almost whitish gray, for the primary hull, and the dark ghost gray from Generations to tone those down a bit. So that is that's the end for today for the Enterprise D. Everything's been primered, and I can see that I'll be able to wait a couple hours between base coats and paint the ship. Now what I'm going to do first of all is focus on the secondary hull, of course. I used the same tape that taped down the 4 nacelles to tape down the saucer, the ventral side of the saucer. And of course I can just keep the top saucer just as it is on that taped thing. That'll be perfect for taping it, painting it. And of course, as you see, there's no paint smudges on here, even though it was wedged into this. And besides, any paint mistakes on the hull, if not the nacelles, will be covered up by the Aztec decals anyway. Wallpaper decals, just like the 1400 scale Enterprise D. I made that generation style. And the NX-01 refit, and the Enterprise refit, and the Excelsior, and the Discovery ships. They were all wallpaper decals, the only things I colored on. Oh, and of course, the 1400 scale Enterprise B. So, 5 or so, maybe 7. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've done 7 ships so far. Well, make it 9 with the wallpaper decals. And because this is a restored version of the only one that survives from my childhood, and take a look. You see here? I didn't have the finest brush, but I already experimented with making some of the windows white. So I can do a better job next time on that. So this is how it looked if it had survived Viridian 3, etc. Don't have to put down the phaser decals this time on the phaser strip. I'll just paint it the same hull color. I won't even make it a different color because that's not how it was in the show. But I will give it the Generations Aztecs because you want those color for escape pods and they're only there. So that's all for today for Sean's model builds. And I'll probably do some tomorrow again on Voyager's windows or something. I'll work on Voyager tomorrow, Monday. And then I will work on the Enterprise D on Tuesday. See how subtle the difference is between the dark ghost gray and the light ghost gray? Almost indistinguishable. That's what I'm going for. The Aztec decals are going to be the ones that make the difference in the saucer. And you see how it says D24. It'll match the 7-ship set instructions for the Enterprise D decals. So I'll have to make sure to use them when I'm applying them. Don't want to make a mistake. And they're in that box. So I'll have to make sure to refer to those instructions. There's still an Enterprise D in there. It is going to get the bold blue Aztec decals. It's going to get a light ghost gray hull all the way around, and it's going to get the custom Adventurer decals that I ordered. So I have the Galaxy Class Adventurer from 2363 from the Star Trek game. Same as with this Voyager. It was converted to Intrepid class. It's treated as a completely different ship, of course. That's why it didn't get an A. Kind of like the Defiant, although it wasn't a class change on that one. All right, so that's all for now, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. It's Sean. This is a brief update for the restored Enterprise D. As you can see, I've put the primer color, that's the yellow, on everything. I've assembled the nacelles to the Stardrive hull. Still has the problem with one of the nacelles being a bit crooked, but it seems to be working out a bit better. I'm keeping the deflector dish, and it's assembled. I'm keeping it. It has those little lips it went up against, and a center notch, so I made sure it went in there. I'm keeping it in this configuration because it'll be a lot easier to paint the inner section of those nacelles once the base coat is applied without the secondary hull top half in the way. And of course you'll get the Inca gold there, you'll get the red there, and I've decided that the color I'm going to use for the nacelles is the Folk Art medium blue. And as far as the deflector dish, I use the copper. Of course, it's going to have to get a second coat of the Folk Art copper. So that's all for now, and because YouTube Short's only 1 minute long, we'll see where it cuts off. Hi everyone, it's Sean. I'm back again. Now, you see, it's hard to tell. Take a look from the back. See. You see how the right nacelle is crooked? It's not straight. It's leaning in. Now I have the Savage Enterprise kit here. Of course, because the workbench is full, I'm going to have to take it out to the dining room and see if I can test fit the nacelle onto the secondary hull of that ship and see if things work out better. So I'll be back once I'm out there. Alright, so I got all the parts out. Going to cut the nacelles off, just the two bottom halves for now. Just so I can test them both. They don't have any paint on them this time, so hopefully the test fitting is more successful. And I labeled the inside again. But that does make sense. I mean, the Syracuse Stardrive came from another ship. This will come from another kit. So that does seem to make sense in some weird way. Alright, so we'll test them on both angles. So we'll put 38 over here. Should fit in nicely. Let's see here. Come on. Well, at first glance, that appears to be correct. But let me get the toothpick so I can ease out that slot. Alright, I've got the toothpick. So now, remove the nacelle briefly. Fix its slot so that it is not obstructed in any way. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, I'm going to cut the nacelle, like the Stardrive, directly off of its housing here. There. It's getting in the way, so I have to remove it entirely. There. Okay, let's try that again. Alright, let's see here. Now, let's try number 36, of course, on the other nacelle. Make sure, because if this works, then I'm just going to substitute this section. Because remember, this is going to be for LeVar Burton and Terry Metalis to sign. I don't want anything to go wrong. But don't stress the nacelle tab either. There you go. So far so good. Let's test them both on the stand and we'll see what we get. Be right back. So let me take the phone off the stand. So there is the wrong way. You see how it's leaning in? Here is the right way. Literally, everything is straight, you see? Everything is straight on the nacelle. So I'm going to glue that in place before I go any further. There you go. Glued in place. You can see how it is straight. So that's the one that's going to be used. Well, let's take a look here. That nacelle is still leaning down a bit. But the point is, it is. But they're still straight relatively from front to back. All right, so this flawed piece can go back in the 7-ship Enterprise bag where it belongs. Let's hope the parts don't get smushed. But I'm still going to use the other half. Well, you're going to have to use these half of the nacelles, of course. Let's snip them off their sprue trees, obviously. There you go. So 35 goes on top of 36. 37 goes on top of 38. Well, that's wonderful. You have a Stardrive without wonky nacelles, which is probably a first, because even the 1400 scale had trouble. Good. Good, good, good. All right. So you can get rid of this entire... You don't need... I'm not using this Stardrive, because the other one has already been primed. Just using the one piece that needed repairs. Don't want to go too far out of range here, but might as well cut this off its sprue tree also. There. All right, good. Once the rod's stuck in the base, it won't come out. Good thing you have the painting rod. Now you could stand to tilt this left side in just a little. There. But they're fairly even front to back, top to bottom. As you can see there. And then you turn it around the other way. And there you go. Nice and even, nice and straight. Perfect. Now I have to find the Adventurer decals, because I'm going to build the 7-ship Enterprise, at least what's left of it, as the Adventurer. All right. So now that you've got the Stardrive on a stable base, I'm going to see if I can actually attach the secondary hull, top half. Because I believe, even if you have it like this, you see how flat it slopes? It's not going to interfere with being able to get at the nacelles. Well, actually it is. Look. So you're right. My earliest instinct to leave it alone. But I'm going to let the nacelles settle as they are. As you can see how straight they are now. They're straight that way. Let's make sure I'm in camera. See? They're straight front to back. There you go. They are straight that way. What a vast improvement. They're straight that way. What a vast improvement that is. It's amazing. Good. Good, good, good. Perfect. So you just let it settle like that. I'll attach the top of the nacelles once everything's dry, like once the glue is set. So 35, 36. There you go. The proper Stardrive. There you are. All right. So that is all for this morning. I will pick this up when I get back from work today. And we'll continue on with the Enterprise. So this piece with its deflector dish firmly installed now Focus on my hand. There you go. That piece doesn't get attached until the base coat and the detail paint is on both nacelles. So I'll see you later. Well, I just found the adventure decals. There they are. That'll be for the 7-ship set with the wonky Stardrive nacelles. I guess they could say they were working out the bugs. So I better put it in the box. And as you can also see, this has the, now it was supposed to be the light gray nacelles, but you see how the skate pods are very dark gray? Not at all the same color as the faded blue Aztecs that I'm going to use for the Enterprise D. You see that difference? So there's another clue that they're from a different ship. And there's the registry. Good. So I'll put it in with the 7-ship set and we'll be done. Hello everyone, it's Sean. I'm back again, and this time I fixed the crooked Stardrive nacelles by using the Stardrive from the 7 Enterprise set, which is the last model kit I bought while I was still living in Alberta, so it's highly appropriate that it saved the day here. And you can see on the instructions, you see? Straighter nacelles. And not only are they straight, aligned to the left and right, but they're also straight, aligned front and back, see? So they don't tip forward. And of course, you see how they look from the front here. Don't mind Voyager in the background. Like this 2500 scale Enterprise D, it's coming along to GalaxyCon as well for the signatures. So that's all for now. Alright, I'm back again. So I decided that I would use the entire Stardrive from the 7 Enterprise kit. So of course I put in the deflector dish and everything. Of course I'm going to paint this all separately. Got to make sure this is upright, of course, so I can get at the deflector dish. That's probably why the paint didn't stick on the last one, because it wasn't primed properly. But here's the inner section of the Stardrive. The attachment pins are all masked off, so you don't get any paint on them. You don't want it to interfere with anything. Same thing with the bottom of the neck. You just put the tape on and then you cut it around to fit. So those attachment pins are protected as well. And of course you can see the Stardrive color. The light ghost gray. You can see the saucer color, the dark ghost gray. Not much difference between them. In fact, let me turn this tape thing upside down. Well, that won't help. One moment. There we go. Okay, dark ghost gray on the left, light ghost gray on the right. So there's a comparison picture for you. Let's see if I can get a picture without the shadows. It's not exactly working as I'd hoped, is it? Well, there it is at 2x view. Alright. So that's as much as I can assemble before all the painting is complete. And of course, if you need to mask off anything else, like the nacelles, once I color them, I can use the Aztec Dummy Voyager masks, because as you can see, I still have... I still have a whole bunch of masking material left over. See? Any one of those straight line sections will probably be used for the nacelle trenches. And any of these curving sections may be... You see, there you go. You even got something for the deflector dish, don't you? I don't think it's the same size as that deflector dish, but that might be. See that thing in the center? That is almost the same size. There it is. Almost the same size as the Enterprise D deflector dish. So that'd be the perfect thing to mask it off when I detail paint it. That's perfect. All right. So that is all for now for the Enterprise D. Since everything here is masked off, I might try, if it's not raining when I get home, masking off this part of the saucer so that I can spray on the base coat. We'll see. We'll see how it works. And of course the Stardrive, I can now see I can reach the nacelles on both sides and their struts. It's a lot easier to get everything on there when there was no paint in the way. Of course, if I'm going to be spray painting the nacelles from the side, I might want to cover up the entire section. There we are. It's all masked off on the inside now, so I can spray paint both the sides and the bottom without having to worry. Of course, when I spray paint the bottom, I'm going to be wedging the part into there, even with the nacelles. In fact, we should do a fit test of that. Give me a moment to set up the tripod. There you go. That is how I paint the Stardrive, and I'm still able to access every single part of it. It's on there a bit crooked, of course. So I might loosen these sections a little bit. Give me 1 minute here. Just had to loosen it to level 2. As you can see, setting number 2. And it fits on there perfectly flat. And there you are, ready for painting. In fact, I'll probably do the bottom side first before I do the top side. Alright, so ready for priming is that one. And of course, when I prime the Stardrive, I can fit it in there as well. Okay, so that is progress for this morning on the Enterprise D. And we'll see you here when I get home from work. And we'll probably do the priming. At least of that section. No need to rush because there's still detail painting and everything to do. Bye-bye.